favorite province, and this is my first time on Vancouver Island. Yesterday I was in Nanaimo, and today I'm here, and I gotta tell you, the community aura that you guys give off, the love, the positivity, the togetherness, it's second to none that I've seen anywhere else in Canada. You guys deserve to give yourselves a round of applause for that. And I want to give a huge shout out to your local police, because I've been to all the provinces and I can gauge the police force in each province, and the BC police, you guys are so privileged to have such professional, courteous, supportive officers that are standing with the community, standing in solidarity, and just providing a presence of hope. That's what law enforcement is supposed to be. Law enforcement is supposed to be a shining pillar of the community that the rest of the community can look for, to love, support, protection, and vice versa. And I've not seen a better example of it than I've seen here. So honestly, guys, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your police. I'm so proud of this community. You guys are fantastic. Such a great energy here. But why are we here in July, almost August now, 2021, when we've been told everything's fine now? You guys, the majority of you took your jabs. We don't have to wear masks anymore. The businesses are open. We're calling it the Summer of Freedom. Notice how they're calling it the Summer of Freedom. Not just freedom. It's because, ladies and gentlemen, just like I warned you last year, there's a perpetual cycle that they're trying to persuade you to get used to. And it's one of lockdown. It's one of restriction. It's one of getting you used to less and less and less. And they have to let you out of the cage in summer. No one's sick. No one's dying. Everybody wants to be free. And they have to give you the illusion that the jab worked. So they gave you a little bit of freedom back. We call that pacification. By we, I mean people that understand government propaganda and mind control in general. So what are they doing now? They pacified you by letting you out of your cage. They got people like Doug Ford and Jason Kenney to go on the record and say, we're not going to do vaccine passports. Further pacification. It nullifies your psyche. It makes you feel like everything's over, everything's okay. All the people that complied now feel vindicated and feel like they did the right thing. The only problem is, we know the truth. And what's the truth? I'm going to tell you all, step by step, point by point, to the letter. So when this happens exactly as we say, all over Canada, that people will realize why we're taking the time in July and August, the only few weeks of freedom, the only few weeks of good weather Canadians have, to actually spend time with their family and friends and do what they want. And we're here on tour simply trying to warn people, keep the momentum going. They want to destroy the movement. They wanted to kill the momentum. They wanted to kill the movement. And they wanted you to be completely disorganized and disheveled. So when September, October comes around and they institute a new lockdown, they pull the rug right out from under your feet. And you won't be ready for it. But that's what we're going to change. I'm going to make you ready for it. So this is what's going to happen in fall. It's not a good thing, but at least you'll know. Over the next weeks and a few months, you're going to hear what we call predictive programming. This is when they tell you what they're going to do to you, and they do it in a way that they just feed you little bits of information to try to get you to think what they want you to think. And eventually, they do it over and over that you believe that what they're telling you is inevitable. So now that they told you there's not going to be a vaccine passport, the very next day, what did they do? They get public officials to say the exact opposite. So in Ontario, we had John Tory, the mayor, the day after Doug Ford said, we're not going to do vaccine passports, John Tory said, we need vaccine passports. That plants the seed in your mind that, oh, they still may do the vaccine passport. Then what are they going to say? Every single day you're going to see news headlines, and they're going to have a theme. Cases are rising. New variants are coming. The new variants are resistant to the vaccine. And then, of course, you're going to have an abundance of stories talking about how dangerous the unvaccinated are. How we're the ones that are fueling this pandemic. So when fall comes around, and all the vaccinated people that get sick from that lethal injection they've been taking, calling a vaccine legally, they're going to blame it on a new variant. The vaccinated aren't going to want to believe that they got themselves sick by taking an injection, so the government's going to give them a wonderful excuse. Don't worry, guys. It's not your fault. it was those unvaccinated people that created the new variant that made you sick. And what does that do for the government? It's absolutely fabulous. It creates the most division in society we've ever had. The majority of the vaccinated versus the non-vaccinated. It's going to make the vaccinated not only be scared of the unvaccinated, but blame them. When a vaccinated person gets sick, they're going to blame an unvaccinated person. That obviously defies logic, because you got a vaccine for something that's supposed to protect you, and then you got sick with the exact disease that the vaccine was supposed to prevent, but you're going to blame the healthy people that didn't take the vaccine for getting you sick. And they'll buy it, because they're not going to want to believe that they got fooled. So what does that do? It sets the stage for exactly what they did in France. A vaccine passport that goes far beyond travel and goes into regulations of freedom in society movement. And in France right now, you cannot even go to a grocery store to buy food for your family unless you show a vaccine certificate or a negative PCR test. So now a simple trip to the grocery store in France, you have to plan it like you're going on vacation, just to buy food for your family. And the French didn't like it. The French stood up for themselves. They went in the streets and they just said no. But guess what? They waited a little too long, and now the government had stormtroopers in the streets shooting them with tear gas and trying to suppress them and trying to call them terrorists for daring to fight back against the idea that they need to be forcibly inoculated to live their life. That is going to be the next thing they try to put into your head. They're going to try to make you accept the idea that it's inevitable that you're going to have to accept this jab over and over and over and over again to live your life. That's where all the propaganda is leading to. And that's why this tour, even though at this time we know the numbers are going to be low, is the most important tour since the start of COVID. Because this is where we tell everybody, the compliant, this is where they get their epiphany. How? What was the carrot this entire time? Get your vaccine, you'll get back your freedom, right? Makes sense if you don't know what you're talking about. But now they've taken their jab. They've taken their second jab. They're going to trick them into taking a third jab, and then they're still going to mask them up and lock them down. So regardless of what excuse, even the most naive, even the most compliant person is not going to believe the government when they say, okay, we didn't give you your freedom back like we promised when you took your first, second, and third jab. But don't worry, guys, just take the fourth or fifth and you'll get it. At that point, we're going to have the masses on our side. And I am already seeing a massive shift in society. How can I tell you that? Very simple. I can't even walk down the street anymore, anywhere in Canada, or 2 minutes without somebody coming up to me, recognizing me, knowing what I stand for, and appreciating it.